Hey everybody, it's Tim hitting the beast of the marching arts. I'm here with the drill guru of gurus. Joe Huls is here. Joe, how are you?
Fantastic. Doing great.
Yeah, everybody, we're here to talk about 4 Wednesday webinars coming up starting tomorrow, the day after we're recording this live thing, where you can have a free webinar with Joe for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, however long it takes to do this stuff. And Joe, you're going to be teaching everybody, reminding everybody the basics of Pyware, and then taking them through actual drill writing session. So I get to sit at my computer and write drill while you're writing drill. I can ask questions. What a great setup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really cool format because everyone who signs up and comes on is going to be directed to a file that they can download, a 3DZ file, and open it up in their version of Pyware if they want, and just follow along. And the first one, the basic one, will probably be something where if you have some experience with Pyware, you still will probably pick up maybe 5 or 10 new things that you went, oh, I've used that, but I didn't know why, or I didn't know what it was called. If you have no experience with Pyware, then it'll be really helpful. And then you kind of get a chance to see how, I guess, my brain organizes these tools and the process. It's a little bit different. I've had some people tell me that the way that I do things is a tiny bit different than what they do. So I think it's going to be really interesting. And then as the webinars go on, week after week, we'll kind of ramp it up a bit more, write some drill, sync it to some music, talk about some of the pitfalls and things you got to watch out for with integrating guard and props and all that good stuff. So,
all right. So what's interesting to me, Joe, is I am really excited about session 1, which is like the basics of here's where this is, here's what these tools do, whatever. I have to tell you, Joe, I'm one of those people that writes drill frantically from like late May all the way till probably beginning of September. And then I literally put the program away. This is just the way my life works. And then I'm doing webinars and I'm writing music and I do all these other things. And then I get back around to May and I literally every year, Joe, I open the program and I'm like, okay, let me see if I can remember how to do this. I mean, I've been writing drill with Pyware for what, 30 years or something, right? Like it's fantastic. It's revolutionized the drill writing world, this online, plotting of dots and everything. But I literally every year, Joe, I'm like, I have to remember how to start. Wait, which tools do I use? And I'll sit down and I'll like practice, and then I'll be like, it comes back to me. But I gotta tell you, I guarantee there are some very cool tricks or tools that I don't really use that will save me time, and that's what I want to learn.
Yeah, it's all about coming up with an efficient workflow for you and how your brain works. Because I think writing drill is a little bit like golf. Everyone kind of does it their own way. They've got their own style, their own way of going through the process, and especially with how they interact with the software, because there's 5 or 6 different ways to do everything. So it's going to be hopefully really educational for even from the beginner to even the seasoned veteran. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in this, or you're watching this and you know somebody that would be interested in this, just go to marchingartseducation.com. Right there on the main page, there's a graphic drill, Pyware webinar. Click on that. It'll take you to the first one. You need to just sign up. Then you need to download. We have a file for you that you need to download so that you're ready to sit at your computer and work on your Pyware along with Joe. And I have to tell you, Joe, this is like a really valuable thing. I think everybody uses Pyware really, really differently. I think I write drill using about 3 tools the whole time. And I know that's not right or practical, but if this was my whole gig, and this is what I did all year, then I would probably, but for me, I'm looking forward to picking up some tricks. Joe, I think people watching are probably thinking, man, I would pay hundreds of dollars for this, like one-on-one interaction with a Pyware guru. I can practice at home, watch along. We're offering this for free, everybody. So if you know somebody that's a drill writer, somebody that wants to learn more about how Pyware works, if you're a band director, you want to be able to take the files from your drill writer and like use them or make small adjustments, or even plot your own pregame formation where you have a big F for Franklin High School, whatever it is, this is for everybody.
Yeah. And I was going to also say too, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a video called how to get the Pyware demo for free. So even if maybe you don't have the software on your computer right now, but you wanted to download the demo and follow along, you can do all that. So the webinar is free, the software is free, and it's all just whether or not people want to go that step and get that extra education in it. So if you head over to Drill Design Solutions, at Drill Design Solutions on YouTube, I've got lots of videos there, and one of them is how to get the Pyware demo for free and just start getting this knowledge. And it's one of those things where I've even have a playlist on my YouTube called Band Director's Guide to Pyware, because like you said, there's so many important things that can make your season go much quicker if you know some of the ways that the program works. So I see it as great professional development if you wanted to jump right in.
Absolutely. Everybody, we're talking about these free Pyware Live webinars. This first one starts tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 5:30 Eastern with Joe. And they're going to be the next 4 Wednesdays. So the first one is like a basics. Well, I'm going to let you explain that, Joe. But everybody, you can go to Marching Arts Education, click on the graphic on that homepage, find this, and sign up. And it's like a free webinar where you can write drill and learn to write drill and hone your own skills along with Joe. By the way, everybody, if you can't make it live, we will have the recording up the next day, but that's not going to be the same in this instance. In this instance, I actually think you'll really benefit if you take the time to sign on at the same time, sit at your own computer, and use your program at the same time, Joe. Now, Joe uses his. Now, Joe, I'm assuming if somebody can't make it live, they can still sit at home, turn on the recording, and work along with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as long as if they've signed up and they can get access to the file, then yeah, I mean, they can sit there and follow along and get all the same info. So they just can't ask questions. That's going to be kind of the cool live bit of it, where if we'll try to field as many as we can. If there's a lot of questions, it may be tough, but if it's at good times throughout the broadcast, and it's really easy to answer those questions, we'll just kind of answer them as we go and keep rolling. And it should be, a great back and forth kind of team effort the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, Pyware Live webinars at Marching Arts Education starting tomorrow night, Wednesday, March 1st, and then the next 3 Wednesdays after, so those 4 Wednesdays in a row. Let's talk about what's going to happen on each one. I already sort of mentioned the first one is sort of like the basics. Why don't you describe the 4 sessions?
Yeah, so the first one, of course, is the basics, the Q&A, and we're going to go through what all the tools are called and what they do, how the program is laid out, and what the different kind of windows and things that are given to you, and how they can help you while you write. And then, and throughout that process too, it's not just going to be a labeling webinar where I say, well, this is the line tool. We'll show you what the line tool does and how to use it, and what kind of tool it is. So there'll be a little more in-depth than just explaining the names of the tools, that type of thing. The second webinar, we're going to jump into planning a little bit, and then of course putting our first page of drill on the grid, and then creating a moment out of it. I may even do it where we start a couple pages into it and work backwards. And then how to make those performers look like flute players, those like trombone players, those like color guard, because there's a couple of different ways to do that, and labeling techniques and that sort of thing. The third one, I think you're muted.
I muted myself. I did. I told you myself. So I interrupted you because this writing backwards thing, Joe, I think is a really big deal. Like, this happens to me at least once or twice each season, where I know where I want them to end up for the first impact, and I know what I want, and I have to start there and go backwards. I think you need to explain this to people, because this is a great, great tool that can be very confusing. Like, every time my head is like, now wait a minute, which way am I going? So I'd like to hear how you do it.
Well, yeah, I think then we'll make sure to decide to do that for the second session, because it sounds like that it's one of those features on Pyware that is one of the best things about using a drill design software as opposed to just using handwritten, how it kind of used to be. Whereas you can now work your way from the middle back to the beginning by kind of flipping your track and writing your counts backwards. So, yeah. But it can also be pretty confusing, and you can get yourself really frustrated if you're not planning for it or ready for it, because you can get into it and go, oh my gosh. And then you end up, sometimes just scrapping it and starting at the beginning. And because you did that trial of trying to do it, you basically worked it out in your head. But if you work at it and practice at it and see some of the things that I'll teach you in it, hopefully working your way back to the beginning is something that you'll probably employ for every drill that you write, because when it does work, it's just an amazing, awesome thing, and you just go, wow, it's really good. That moment was really, really good. So
yeah, everybody watching, we're talking about the Pyware Live webinars that start tomorrow night, every Wednesday for the next 4 Wednesdays, starting on March 1st, where we're going to be writing drill along with Joe. We're going to be able to see him, how he does it. We're going to see the screen where we can see a picture of him. All right, there's a video of him actually drawing and working on the screen, and then you'll see the actual Pyware file and the real view file. We're going to be able to see all of that. It's very cool. Go to the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel, and you can see an example. We already have a video up showing how that's going to look, if you're wondering. Joe, we need to move on with this, but I do want to say the other thing that I find I spend a lot of time thinking about is when to decide to assign either instruments or numbers. Like, that's also something that I'm hoping you're going to address, because each drill I write, sometimes I know from the beginning the clarinets are here, and sometimes I have to start writing and then assign instruments at another time. That's all also sort of stressful. But anyway, enough about all that, everybody. I'm sure we'll be addressing that. You were talking about each of the sessions, and you were up to the third session when I interrupted you. So what happens on the third session?
Yeah, so the third session, the file starts with winds, drums, color guard, rifles, props. It starts with everything already on the field, already synced to some music. And then I'm going to take you through, it's about a minute, and we're going to work on the decision-making process for who to write for first, and how the process, you should be, maybe thinking as you go. And you'll get to see, me kind of making that decision. And once you make that decision that this is the section that needs to be featured or being put into the spotlight next, then there's a secondary layer, and then this other layer, and then how is it supported visually? And there's decisions to be made. And I think that's one of those things that when you're writing drill, sometimes you make the right one, and then you write a little bit, and then you go, you know what, I should have made a different one. And then you got to work your way back and then do it again. And so that process will be kind of fun. And we're going to produce that entire minute, hopefully within that session. And then the final session, the fourth one, we will dress up the files a little bit. We're going to use Pyware's visuals tool and make the color guard spin, make the people do some visuals and that sort of thing. We're going to talk about exporting your file, formatting it, how to make a video of it, how to put the exclamation point on it and finish it and hand it off to the client. So that's, all 4 sessions. If you attend all 4, that should be a pretty good, process from beginning to end of how to use the program, how to write, how to save it and make it so that it's something that people are ready to learn.
Yeah, and the timing couldn't be better, everybody. 4 Pyware Live webinars starting tomorrow night, the next 4 Wednesdays. Joe, this is the time when everybody's they need to get those skills going again. They need to remind themselves how this all works. This is the time, even though I know how busy you all are, we're in the middle of a lot of stuff, but still, we're saying take an hour on Wednesday nights, the next 4 Wednesdays. Do this. Start to work in your Pyware again. Learn some new things. Learn some new tools that you maybe don't use. Learn some good things so you have better guard integration, so you have better percussion integration. So you have better files to send to your client if you're doing that, so that you understand things more. If you're a band director and you use Pyware with your drill writer or with your team, you need to know what you're doing. Last thing I'll say, Joe, one of my basic premises that I tell band directors all the time is you need to know at least a little bit about everything that's going on, right? So if you have a color guard on the field, you need to know something about spinning a flag or tossing a rifle. Even if you're not going to do it professionally, you need to go out there and know what the experience is like. Or with drumming or anything that you do, you need to have that. And I think the same is true for everybody on my team. My guard instructor needs to have some concept of what it's like to be a percussionist. Put that drum on your body and march around while you're playing. I just feel like this is really important. So here's another example where everybody on your team really needs to understand how this this Pyware drill writing system, I was going to say charting, how that all works. All right. Yeah. That's the last thing I'm going to say, because we need to end this. Joe, 4 live webinars with you. We're going to see you write drill. We're going to write drill at home along with you. I love this setup. What do you want to say as we're going?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of jump on what you were saying, it's about appreciation, and knowing what everyone does within their realm of the marching arts. And part of that is knowing what a drill designer has to do. And whether you're a band director or maybe you're a college student right now in a marching methods class, and you just want to come on out and learn a little bit about the program, so that when you do get your band program, that you can use these skills and you can use this program just to help things move quicker in rehearsal, move quicker through the season, so that your kids can have the best possible experience.
I love it. Thank you, Joe, for doing this with us at Marching Arts Education. Of course, everybody, you can find Joe's drill writing course at Marching Arts Education also. And Joe, one more time, you have a fantastic YouTube channel full of great tips. Where's that?
It's at Drill Design Solutions. So that's YouTube just started the handle system. So if you go to YouTube and you type at Drill Design Solutions, you'll find me.
Awesome. And of course, check out our stuff on YouTube at Marching Roundtable. Joe, thank you for having this conversation. Looking forward to the webinar starting tomorrow night, March 1st, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Joe, thanks for having this conversation.
Looking forward to it. See you tomorrow night.
If you're watching this and you know somebody that needs this, tell them about this video, tell them about the course. Thanks, Joe.